Quite the beginning here to Group C, as we have a 1-1 situation at the moment between Roll20 and Red Canids. To my left we have Wolf, we have Skimmy, we have J-How, and overall, where are we going? What's going to happen? Who knows at this point? But Roll20 in that second game seem to have gained a little bit more back.
Looks like a little bit like they've woken up, J-How, right?
Yeah, they woke up and they went back to their comforts. They went back. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of Glaurung. I'm not fearing. We can expect there's going to be more double support going forward, but I really think that it looked awkward in the first, and maybe it's just first day, maybe not expecting Red Canids to come out, but game 2 they went to their comforts. A little bit of flavor. Goku over on the Genji. I almost said Goku on the Glaurung, but Goku on the Genji. Lots of G's going on here.
Had that Glaurung support, but I actually think that Red Canids are going to take this series. I think that, as Grubby alluded to, they had to go to their most comfort ever. They got the map they wanted at least. That ended up being a mistake by Red Canids, but when you go into a larger map, potentially just like Game 1 on Sky Temple here, and Red Canids can play their style, play a little bit more standard. If they get the Brightwing especially, I think Roll20 will struggle when they're outside of that comfort zone. So a little bit scary for North America here.
I start to wonder who actually is going to decide what map we go to. I mean, if Roll20 go for it, I feel like they're going to go to another big map again. Warhead Junction's banned away.
Right.
First Flow screams to me, and for the sole reason, the fact that typically speaking, Latin America have been very aggressive, and on those bigger maps, you can abuse the ideals of, yes, Red Canids do play Darker, yes, they play Brightwing, but it's not at the standard that these other macro-heavy teams play. Very hard to, from a minor region, when the teams you're versing domestically don't punish you for those mistakes. So when you come to a big international event, teams start to punish you, you're thinking, how do we get better if the opponents back home don't give us the opportunity to reach the level, apart from watching VODs online?
Well, let's find out. Will Skimmy be right, or will Skimmy be dead wrong? Let's see.
Dead wrong, wrecked.
You know,
I mean,
Dead
Infernal
Wrong
Shrines
starts with a C, by the way.
Come on, man. I mean, Infernal Shrines works just as well. It's a hybrid between team fighting and macro. Come on, guys. Give me a bone here.
I would say you were halfway there. There you go. No problem, no problem.
I'd say like about 32%.
Are you really crunching these numbers to those nitty-gritties? Are we doing this right now?
Wolf already gave the declaration that he thinks Canids has taken this, and he didn't even see the battleground.
That's true. That's a bold statement, Wolf. What do you think on Infernal Shrines?
On Infernal Shrines, I give them less confidence. I thought we were going to go to a larger map like Cursed Hollow, maybe the Dragonshire for kind of that macro control. But as we get into this one, let's see what they want to take, because this map is bossless, which is another reason why I'm a little bit surprised we saw this as the map choice. So the boss control we saw from Red Canids is some of the greatest we've seen thus far in the group stage, especially when you go back to that fight with ETC. So I don't know if they're going to take the Brightwing here. It doesn't get as much value in terms of boss control, which I think is what they did most with it. But let's see.
All right. Game number 3, 1-1 at the moment. The winner advances on to the winner's match here in Group C. Skimmy, what are you thinking?
I mean, Red Canids in both games, they've played the Rhaegar. Roll20 have done this twice now in the draft, where they've showed the Rhaegar at the start as their ban choice, then switched and flexed to that Tassadar. Really scared of the idea, because a very comfortable composition for the Red Canids has always been put J Shred on the Valet, then hyper-enable him with that Tassadar, with that Oriole, and allow him to do work on his own. They, once again, are threatening that to be the pick. And Dragonshire has been taken off of that map list, so yeah.
Oh, you're right,
like Wolf, I would have definitely gone for the Dragonshire as the choice, but Infernal Shrines, I suppose, is that hybrid between Dragon and Cursed Hollow.
I think we're going to be looking at 2 primary heroes that will have, one being Sonya. How high does Sonya kind of fall in this draft? Because she'll either be in the early rotation, or I highly doubt she'll make it past second ban. There's a possibility, but then there's always the Diablo threat as well that we could potentially see from Roll20. This is probably their most diverse hero pool battleground that they've played on. We've seen a wide variety of strategies from them, and you know, it's almost unexpected. We got to kind of see what they start with, but obviously first ban's got to get out of the way first.
I think Diablo's a really good hero for this map, specifically given the fact that you can shadow charge into terrain, guarantee that stun, APOC and choke points works really well as well. Red Canids have also shown during the qualifiers they play Diablo as well, so it's always a big factor to consider. Hey, we know that Roll20 like to play this combination. If they ban away the Medivh, we could be thinking of that idea.
Well, let's see. A lot of thought going into this one. I think that Medivh is definitely on the table here in terms of bans. Garrosh was the problem hero in the last game. They're going to take the Brightwing away. So questions here already answered about what they're going to take. But see, this was the risk, and I think Red Canids is going to be really frustrated with the choice they made now.
I agree.
Okay, you said Red Canids played in the qualifiers. Is almost makes me feel like if you are Red Canids, you say, okay, we are comfortable playing it, and we sure as hell don't want to give it to Roll20 for that Medivh Diablo combo.
I mean, locking in as fast as that after your opponent has thought about a choice like that, that's very mind-gaming. It's like,
yes,
you were so wrong with your ban.
Yeah.
We insta-lock, and this is how confident we
I
feel.
really
So
like
mind
that.
game's already playing.
I really agree with you.
Yeah, typically speaking with the Medivh composition, what does Medivh do so well with his Force of Will? Deny burst, and what are you after with that big APOC? You want to kill somebody. Think Jaina with the Ring of Frost, Frink, even Zeratul to try and overlap and guarantee that you get as many members caught in that as possible. So the fact that they've gone for this, I feel that the reason Red Canids haven't gone for the Diablo, it makes the Roll20 option of picking that far more attractive.
Yeah, I think that if we do see Diablo, it's going to be later in the draft. I don't think they're going to pick it up now. And even if they bait a ban here for Red Canids, I think that's a win because it gives them more options. If you pull out a Diablo ban, that's not even it's your quote-unquote top-tier hero, top-tier tank at the moment, so it could give you the Muradin. So I think Roll20 should grab like a Sonya here and just whatever DPS they like to take, save the tank pick for last, threaten that Diablo ban, and I think that would kind of put them ahead in this draft.
What actually really personally like Wolf would be if they actually went for the Lucio in this rotation as well. If they go for the Sonya, you've got Medivh portals, you've got Lucio with the Amped up. You're not running away from that Sonya. You are going to commit to that fight. They decide to go for the DPS as you mentioned. And it now makes a very interesting ban phase in this second rotation for Red Canids. Do they go for that Lucio or do they go for that Diablo as those sort of pocket interesting strategies?
Yeah, I really like this play. This is like Roll20 is aligned in minds with me right now, and going back to what Claire says, I think this is a mind game they're playing with the Medivh locked in so quickly.
There we
There's
go.
the Diablo ban, and now Roll20 is like, all right, well, show respect to us. And this also goes deeper than just this series. It goes to the next series that Roll20 has to play. Teams have to be considering this Diablo factor, and even though we haven't seen it in play, now you see this ban come out right here, and you're like, you have to know that Red Canids is already showing respect. Other teams need to follow that as well.
What I would like to see here, it actually goes back to an earlier point Skimmy made about putting Shrite on the carry-style hero of Vala. One thing that Medivh does so well with, as you said, deal with burst damage. One person that puts out that sustained damage, or you might even have a fallback option of a Lunara. You're really only going to see the Medivh, and I think that's why they held their support to see would they be dealing with that spread poison damage of Lunara. They could pick their support appropriately. So I actually would not mind in this rotation taking the Rhaegar for yourself. You run the double support, which Rhaegar is the best on this battleground because of that lightning bond. You take it away from Roll20. You're still obviously going to have the Stukov thing like that to really deal with.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you have that control if you want to wait and maybe get a Lunar on the back end.
Yeah, and I agree, and I'd say also with the Vala, we've seen a lot of Valas now transition almost a bit of a blast to the past with the multi-shot build.
Oh,
actually,
right?
right?
Multi-shot.
Because,
okay.
you know, typically speaking, the Hungering Arrow build is for the Merc controller, is for the one-shot potential. They go for the Lunara, discussing what you mentioned just before there, J-House, so it's a case of now with that in mind, Roll20 can flex that support in any direction that they're after.
I think this is a mistake.
I do too. That had to be a Rhaegar there, and you flex that last hero to counter whatever support's left over for Roll20.
Yeah, you also limit the support pulled that way from Roll20. I was thinking the only other possibility would have been like a last pick Gul'dan as well, something that would work against this composition. You've got the Horrify to ruin whoever goes through the portals, for example. Protection or no, they're just going to be CC'd to death. This is risky. Let's see what they want to take. I think you take a Lucio here and you're in great shape if you're Roll20. I mean, you just out-heal that slow, sustained damage.
Do you want... Okay, so I think there's two good points here, Lucio or Stukov. Stukov, we saw how wonderful he did. They end up going the Rhaegar, and we bust out the Stitches. They end up with the Rhaegar, which is a bit surprising, but not completely, I guess, unsurprising because the amount of control he has on the Shrine. They get a bit of clear here. But I would have loved to have seen the Rhaegar on the side of Red Canids. Now, with the supports left, you know, they could run the Lucio potentially for themselves. This is a tough spot.
It gets scary now for Red Canids because if you're looking on the side of Roll20, yes, you don't have that hard CC to follow up the Stitches, but if you've got the Stitches and a Medivh together, you're thinking Gorge immediately. You Gorge a target, you pop through the portal, that person is in the middle of nowhere, and they're going to get taken down for free. So the final pick for Red Canids, nothing really screams out to me. Well,
unfortunately, they don't really have there's no support left that has good wave clear. I think that's what's missing here. One of the things that Stitches Medivh struggles with is obviously if you lose your forts early, the longer you keep your forts up, more you can do with Gorge Portal, because obviously you have those walls there and forts there. So now Red Canids doesn't really have a comp, I think, that can get damage to structures done early. I think Lucio's the best pick here, but I don't think it's good, and I think Roll20 got everything they wanted in this draft.
Stukov wouldn't be terrible. Yeah, because if you come in with the portal, the biggest threat to this composition with the Medivh is to magically appear in the enemy's backline. And one way to make sure that they're not there, you also, we talk about displacement tanks. Level 4 for ETC, obviously, you go the increased face melt range, you have that to deal with that. Something that Breeze busted out last year against ADRDN team. And then that was kind of like the, hey, this actually works really well. But furthermore, now you have Stukov, big old flailing arm comes out there. Nobody's near that portal. You have a little bit more control over that. You have pick potential.
You can put the arm, the lurking arm, right as soon as you see the portal. You just put it right in front of the portal. And
that's why I wanted to see Junkrat, by the way. Put a concussion mine down there. Oh, you want to come through that portal? I would have loved to have seen it.
You're going to feel the wrath of the internet saying that one. That's
one day down the line.
Topic.
One day down the line. So, looking at these comps, how they shape up, I feel like Roll20's in a pretty good spot. Do you concur?
I would agree as well. I feel like, as Wolf touched on, they've got everything they wanted. The Rhaegar, for me, should have been picked in that second rotation for Red Canids. They kind of choked themselves into this, I guess we need Stukov to try and counteract what this Medivh has, but I would have preferred them to flex, as you mentioned, that pick. I don't know about this Lunara. I'm still like hovering on the wave of caution, thinking maybe the multi-shot Valla build would have been better. You get the Rain of Vengeance to then try and shut down the aggression that you know is going to come between Sonya and Greymane.
I think if they go Splintering Spear and they just play really passively, I think they have a chance, but I'm going to have to change my mind. You know, I was predicting a win here for Red Canids, and after this draft, I think Roll20 got everything they wanted. Could be a problem going forward in the group, but I'm going to have to change my prediction.
I just don't know if Red Canids know how to play passively, though.
Oh, okay, look, you picked them without even seeing the Battleground or draft, which means you had faith in them no matter what. You can't backtrack.
I mean, I was saying in terms of where we're at in the series at that moment in time.
What, them coming off a loss?
Okay, gentlemen,
look, you guys can call me out. I'll be called out, but I'm changing my prediction here.
Time to head over to the commentary team, game number 3. Thank you very much, gents, as we head over to them once again to find out who is going to take this series.
Red Canids put their stock in a Lunara pick, and I don't know if I agree with it, Grubby. How about you?
I mean, it's great in an extended fight. You can pick up Giant Killer for the double warrior frontline, spread a lot of damage against single support. But Stitches doesn't really play fair, does he?
He does not. He wants to play quick and fast, pulling into a target, and add on top of that, Medivh. Let's go in Infernal Shrines here and see who will take the win and move forward in this group as we get ready for the Battleground. And we're going to see if Red Canids can handle against Roll20 at their best.
At this point, I feel like Arthas will have to take a bullet for Stukov every time. The Lurking Arm is such a powerful tool in dealing with Portal. You can even prevent a Gorge from happening on a hook target. But the hook itself is so easy to hit on Stukov when he's channeling the Lurking Arm. So it will be very important for Arthas to block that. Problem is, there's this big abduction combo, right? For Roll20, Hook, Gorge, and Portal, if that's how they want to play it.
I think North America has dubbed this type of composition the milk carton. As you go missing, and of course he'll be on the side of the milk carton.
Has anyone seen Arthas?
Has anyone seen Arthas? Where is Stukov? Haven't seen him since Heart of the Swarm. On the right side here, Red Canids will be in the red and they charge forward. And again, this Lunara is going to need time to develop. Now, can Red Canids find those moments to develop the fight and allow for her to be effective? I think one spot for it to be great is around the Shrine phase. That's where you can dictate fights. But at Roll20, we've seen it in EU, they can actually dodge out on the first couple of Punishers and take advantages there.
Yeah, and Sonya and Greymane and Rhaegar are great split pushers. That's going to be definitely a powerful tool, potentially. Do like Red Canids' comp, though. Well, I was wondering if instead of Stukov, they might have gone for Uther. After all, you want to save anyone that gets bursted by that hook blow-up. Medivh already wasn't available. Uther would have still been an option.
Would have given you 2 options to reset the fight, right? You have the Aegis, would have had Divine Shield, would have allowed Arthas to be forced into fights. But hey, Red Canids, they decide, let's go ahead and mimic what we did in game number 1. Let's come out, guns a-blazing.
Haven't had first blood in a while, and there they go. Get that first kill, a little bit of an advantage. Would like to see them push it. Again, it's not about that kill and the XP it gives. It's about what you can do with it. So that 3-man there at the bottom lane, I'd love to see if they can go get a tower, maybe even 2. That's a solo Rhaegar defending against double support.
And while he does have decent wave clear, walking through a silencing arm from Vieira will be quite difficult. So one turret does fall. The sad part, though, about Lunara is that her attack speed is quite low, not able to burn through both turrets that quickly.
Yeah, she has attack speed 1.11 attacks per second, but it's mostly embedded in the poison value. So not that much early damage. Her poison scales up well as the game goes on, more than most abilities go up in damage. And this is why she's both a late game monster as well as good in extended fights in particular. Her value largely rests within doing a lot of pre-battle poison damage to make Roll20 show up slightly bandaged and wounded before the fight proper even begins.
2 targets at a time will be the choice for Lunara. Sans comes out to control the portal from Red Canids. Vieira just holding his ground, but Glaurung steps forward, drops a couple rings of damage. 11 to 10 right now in terms of minion control. The Red Canids are doing their best here to clear out what they can.
See Justin looking for a potential hook angle maybe, but either way this is a 4 versus 5, so that wouldn't really lead to anything. Note how Prismaticism on Greymane is still doing double lane clear. You mentioned this. North America, Europe, they love playing styles like this whenever possible. Roll20 is doing this perfectly. They give up the Punishers, so what? They're up a full level almost.
Yep, defense will be easy for them. They have the force of will to have either Sonya or Stitches to bait over that Punisher if they were to lose on it, but they're doing enough here to contest and make Red Canids kind of triple their boots a little bit here. 32 to 35, it's getting closer and closer. Red Canids need to step up and they'll be able to grab the first Arcane Punisher of the game.
3/4 of a level to Roll20 on account of doing more laning. Arthas belatedly caught up on the middle and the bottom lane, and now the first Punisher of the game, 2 Red Canids. Let's see what they can get out of it.
Pushing on the top side here, working on that turret damage, but already you can see the Punisher melting. Just like some ice cream on a sunny Sunday here in SoCal, getting picked up right away. And Greymane has done such a good job of pushing in that bottom and middle lane. They had to peel all Stukov as well just to help out because they were missing experience.
Nice hook on Lunara into the gate as well, providing that little mini stun. Power slide and detaining strike on Glaurung. Portal!
Oh, the portal!
Portal went away! Glaurung goes down!
Nice, Red Canids coming in with the second kill of the game. Glaurung falling there, just barely missing out on the portal duration by a heartbeat. And that was just enough for Lunara to step up, slow him down, and secure a kill.
Oh, Glaurung goes down. Luckily, no quest stacks lost as he died at level 6.9. At level 7, you get that Master's Touch. And I've heard it said among the Korean community, the pro gaming community, they said that a Medivh must reach 30 Master's Touch stacks, completing the quest, by minute 10:30. If not, you might as well have not picked Medivh.
A benchmark that we'll see if Glaurung can even attest to, as they'll try and work in those Master Touches.
Shrimpy yesterday on Dragonshire from Fnatic, he got it in 12 minutes and a bit. He died around level 7, slowing him down. So let's see if Glaurung can bust that benchmark out of the water or not.
That is the curious thing about Medivh. You look at Korea and you can see the aggression that they pull off in their fights, and you can see them getting it done at 10-15. I look at EU and I'm like, well, most of the time they use Medivh as more of a way to get vision, right?
Scouting, slow play.
Out-control your opponent, so that 12 minutes makes sense to me. But now suddenly I have that 10-15 in my mind, and now every game I'm going to be like, let's beat Korea. Let's get faster and faster.
And this is very important, you know, for anyone. Anyone that would like to improve and doesn't just focus on winning and losing, you got to have these benchmarks, even for yourself. Get familiar with the industry standard of performance, and then you can just improve from game to game and focus on positive single skill improvements.
I mean, for me, I just want to get to level 10. If I get to level 10, it's been a good game. You know? All right, well, 10 actually about to hit here as Roll20 is 1 level away. Red Canids is actually keeping up an experience right behind them despite missing out on those couple waves that we saw earlier in that first phase of the Shrine. Problem is, they were a little bit late to this Punisher on the bottom side, and Roll20 gets a nice lead here with Sonya leading the charge and Justin helping out.
Yeah, Vieira is still having to clear that top bruiser camp, just about finishing. Now he wants to make his bruiser camp win out, still mounting up and continuing to push that lane. Arthas will join him there as well, Fury Zera. So Red Canids, in short, definitely giving up this Punisher.
Should be able to defend it on the bottom side. Just need to get Snake down there to make sure that he can bait it over and of course burn it down with the help of the forts. The top lane though, in a bit of trouble as Red Canids grab that mercenary camp, got it to the turret wall, and forced Glaurung to head to the top.
Okay, so there's a play here. We have Greymane, Prismaticism, clearing the bruiser camp, and Red Canids is with 5 members, equal levels, and they're in a 5 versus 4. Ideally, you ignore the Punisher, let it jump the gate, and do an aggressive engage on the rest of the team, getting a 5 versus 4. Mosh Pit has been taken once again, but Prismaticism, he is close enough to join if all hell breaks loose. That's a funny leyline seal.
And that combo coming off, Viera will be the target. Curse Bullet does connect Lurking Arm, pushing members back. Viera, he will live. Fury Zero, though, may have caught himself a little bit too far forward. Will be forced to use Army of the Dead. The Punisher jumping on the back line, hitting Murras. He finally will be able to deal with it. Now, will Red Canids give chase? No. They allow Roll20 to back up.
Yeah, Red Canids was having to play Frogger there with the concentric frozen circle explosions. Don't want to get rooted for about 2 seconds there. Red Canids misses their opportunity to jump in. Interesting heroic, by the way, for Lunara. Already has the split poison damage from the level 7 Splinting Spear.
Yeah.
Will instead use the heroic Leaping Strike instead of Thornwood in order to presumably escape a Hook Gorge abduction.
Hoping to punish. Ooh,
There
wow,
we go.
Murras gets
That's useful.
hooked, jumps out. Nice little maneuver there. Should be able to get healed up here from Viera and Jay Strita. But picking that Leaping Strike here, they're trying to take those Force of Will timings in the small window that you have to punish your target and burn them down quickly. Thornwood Vines is usually something that you see in a lot of teams nowadays, but it's just a little bit too long for it to actually break out and be useful on team fight. So I like the pick here from the Canids.
Yeah, honestly, you don't need Thornwood when you already have Thornwood essentially at level 7.
Yes.
Splinted Spear fulfills the same purpose. It's like getting additional charges on it on your level 10. Whereas Leaping Strike really is unique. You will see Thornwood be picked now and then, but in this case, dodging a spear, dodging a hook, a gorge, definitely preferable.
Well, Gorge is up, speaking of it. So we're going to have Roll20 move in with the portal. The silence comes out from Viera, though, putting Justin in a spot where he actually can't land the Gorge, but Tulin straight up whiffs the Mosh Pit.
Gorge, Leaping Strike is available.
Can't you get out? Needs to jump on a minion here.
Wrong way.
Wrong way. Should have gone for the minions there. Big mistake from Lunara. Everyone from Red Canids has to get out now.
Everyone from Red Canids was ready to save her. We had a full hope bar. We had Aegis available. All he had to do was Leaping Strike to the right and he would be fine. But now Red Canids is falling behind. 2-1 in takedowns in their favor. However, they have been losing out on the map a bit. So now, can they contest Strixler?
Oh, 13 about to hit for Roll20. They'll need to get 13 themselves. Red Canids, they want to be in that spot because there's a couple of important talents there, especially for Lunara. You mentioned the Giant Killer is even greater spell shield if you feel like you need to get through burst. I don't think it's needed here. I think you want to go for the extra damage, especially with the slows being available with Arthas here too. But Red Canids, they need that 13. That's where Lunara starts to scale up, moving into those important talent tiers.
Exactly. 13 is a huge damage tier for Lunara. And like you said, it could be to pair up with Arthas, getting that unfair advantage, bonus poison damage on Slowed or Giant Killer in order to deal with Stitches and Sonya. But Stitches doesn't look too killable. Like if you look at his build, it's a full tank build, Fleabag, Amp Heal. We have the Indigestion talent at level 1, which gives you bonus healing over time, chew your food. So he is definitely the tank to be ignored. He's a one-trick of Hook and Gorge.
Non-killable, but very friendly, wanting to make friends with Red Canids. Can he land those hooks? Goku on the side does catch the rotation from Red Canids. They spread out as needed, but Viera does.
Oh, the hook!
Murras gets hooked from across the world, trying to leap out. Can he survive?
Oh.
Wow, this time he does jump correctly, gets away, but will Viera be as lucky?
Viera is locked in place. He will actually get freed faster than Aegis will be available because of the staggered effect of Leyline Seal. He will go down. Nice move there. A perfect example of how Leyline Seal's staggered stasis effect can actually really work against that defending team. As Stukov there found himself without allies for just a bit. Nice move by Roll20. Pushing in now on the keep.
Looking for another hook, does miss out. Gonna have Red Cannon step forward as they try to clear out this Punisher. The keep finally taking some damage, but the Punisher should be falling. There it goes. Now, we will have Stukov back in 3 seconds, so Roll20 needs to think about disengaging or getting a kill right now.
Whereas Red Canids needs to be careful,
No tool in, a second with Mosh Pit of the game here, and now Red Canids, they need to escape because Goku, he sees an opportunity and he's striking.
You can't just press Power Slide into Mosh Pit. You have to see whether when you arrive it's still a thing. Fury's Era will survive for now though. Army of the Dead. Tulin missing a very important cooldown here. Leaping Strike on Medivh. Huge Poison Spear on Murras.
Goku catching him there. Stitch is being slow. The portal will not be helping Justin. Justin turns around, being tanky. You mentioned it earlier. The Fleabag helping out, eating members here. Arthas gets spit out and killed. Tulin trying to escape. He will fall. Ariel as well. Vieira wants to escape, but Prismatic is giving chase. And with the portal, Roll20 will take out 4.
Beautiful by Roll20, getting the maximum out of every engagement here. The Gorge on Arthas, the hook on Ariel. Fantastic play. Roll20 dropping the first map is now primed and ready to take down the core for the second time in this best of 3.
It looked shaky in game number 1, but Roll20 turns it up for game number 2 and game number 3. They see a mistake and they punish, going for the final win here, and they'll win the series 2-1.
Just 12 minutes there on that third map, 6-2 in takedowns. Roll20 will move to the upper final of Group C, dubbed the Group of Death. Shaken to their core after map number 1, where Red Canids had a surprise victory, which was Red Canids' first international battleground victory. But Roll20 rallied. They got the return.
Red Cannon showing some fire. We'll love to see some more from both of these teams as we continue to move through the Group of Death. And what an exciting series, really. I think I woke up today and I didn't expect this from Red Cannons. Again, huge props to them, but Roll20 bringing it in, showing that they have to pull out the full power here to handle such a strong team here that has shown up from Latin America. And as we gear up for the next series, man, the day is just loaded with great matches.
Yeah, I mean, it's arguably only going to get better from here on out, as the next match is going to be Dignitas versus Tempest, an absolute firecracker of a series there. But for now, let's see what our analyst panel has to say about this map.
That's right, it wasn't without its bumps along the road here for Roll20, however, they managed to plow on. They're going to be heading to that winners match, and overall, what we saw there was Roll20 executing their comp to a strong degree there, Jay-How.
Very strong, and once they went back to the basics, they did what they needed to do. The only thing that I wonder about is, does that raise questions in their own mind for their series going forward, whether it's against Dignitas or Tempest? Arguably a better team, one would say. Yes. So again, I think they've got some time. They can watch the next series, but it wasn't without its flaws. We'll see if they can bring it and be even stronger later.
I feel like they had sort of like that level of mental fortitude to go into these next series and go, look, we can do it. Maybe a little bit of overconfidence against a minor region team. It's happened in the past, and it will carry on happening if teams don't respect them, where it's like, we haven't done our preparation, we'll just play standard, we'll do our game, and we can win on that macro and micro level, which we saw in this game happen a few times. I believe it was like the very first shrine that happened. Myself and Wolf were talking about it, where, you know, the Red Canids were going for it, but Greyman was circling mid, they were double circling, they were getting XP, and yes, you get that first Punisher, but those small little intricacies, they build up progressively, and that's where we found a big XP lead by the end of the game.
I think it was really good crisis management throughout the game from Red Canids, really being able to deal with those Punishers. We were talking on the desk here again about how little the Punishers, the first two, really were able to accomplish, but I do think that Buds is kind of the unsung hero of this series, support play in both that second and third game. Really fantastic.
Never a doubt in Wolf's mind who was going to win that last one. Let's head over to the stage. Kevin is ready.
Thanks so much, James. That's right, I'm here with Prismaticism, ranged player from Roll20. Let's talk a little bit about that game one. I want to hear from you. Was that just better play than you expected out of Red Canids, or were there issues going on with you guys as a team in that game that caused the hiccup there?
I think we underestimated them a decent amount. They played a lot better than expected. We also were not drafting comfort picks, and we were not warmed up for that game. It was just not great from us.
Okay, now I know your team spent a good amount of time together prior to the group stage here, boot camping. Talk to me a little bit about what benefits you felt that brought your team going into a tournament like this.
The boot camp gave us a lot of time to really get used to the time zone changes, and then also just to get together as a team, just get used to each other, just hang out together and everything, and then also just solidify our draft plans and make sure that we're ready coming into BlizzCon.
All right, so you advance further into this group. You're going to be playing the winner of Dignitas Tempest. Do you have any thoughts on that match? What do you expect will happen there? And do you guys even have a favored team to face in the winner's match?
I've heard a few things about EU teams underperforming right now. I'm hoping that Dignitas will make it through, but I could expect Tempest to come through too.
All right, well, good luck, Prismaticism. Thank you so much. All the best. Thanks. All right, guys, Roll20 takes our first win here in Group C. We're going to be back with Dignitas versus Tempest.